Hello. In this video, we will take a look at how do we read the CSV file that we import in the PowerShell. If you have not gone through the previous video on how do we import the CSV file in PowerShell, I would recommend you please to use the link in the description to check out that video. Now, I do have one users, separated value file. Let's just open it and see the values that's part of the CSV file. And as you can see, we have 10 records, we have the index, we have user ID, first name, last name, gender, email, phone, date of birth, and job title. All right, so this is for the reference. I wanted to show you this file. Let's fire the PowerShell. And let's just quickly recap the command which we wrote in the last video, which is import CSV path, and then we specify the path. Our file is located in this path. We store the entire CSV file into this users, and then we just write that users back on the screen. Now let's just understand a difference between when we use write host and we don't use write host when we are working with the import CSV. So let's first use write host and then the variable. Let's run it. And as you can see, you do see the output, but it's really cluttered. It's not user friendly. Now, if you just remove the write host and then run it, you would see a better output, right? It's not cluttered, and as you can see, you also have the data which is coming from a CSV in a better format, right? But still, you would need to see and look at this data in let's say a tabular format, just like what you saw in the Excel, right? So what you can do, you can put a pipeline and you can use format table, and then let's hit run, and now you can see it is in much more readable format, which looks exactly same like you are reading an Excel file. Let us say if you would like to import the file, but you do not want to import all the fields or all the headers data. You only want certain fields from the file. How do we do that? So while you are using the import CSV, we need to specify the header. So let's say we would like to have first name. So you put the first name in the single quotation, you put comma, then you would like to have last name as well. Same way, you would like to have email, and then you would like to have phone. That's it. You only want first name, last name, email, and phone, and you do not want all the other fields. This is how you actually narrow down the fields, the headers while importing. Let's hit run. And now as you can see, we are not really getting all the data back. The data really exists, the header exists in the CSV file, but you are really retrieving only the limited information from the file. Now I also want to show you just one one more option to retrieve only the specific columns. So earlier we saw header, right? So we can also use select as well as the header as well, right? So you can say select, and then you would like to get first name, then you would like to get last name, and then you would like to get, say, the job title. All right, and then let us just print it again, and let's hit select, right? So you saw just like the header, you are also able to retrieve the first name, last name, and job title, right? Now let's take an example on how do we actually read the CSV file line by line, right? So let's go ahead and let's just remove this for a while, and we do have now the entire data in the users, right? So what we can do is we can use for each here. We can put opening bracket. You will say for each user in users, right? And then let's opening bracket, closing bracket, right? And let's just write host. Now what we are doing here is we are using for each loop, and we are iterating in the users variable. So users is the entire table, and we are getting handle on individual row as a user in the user. So we'll say $user dot a phone, and let's hit enter. And as you can see, now we've got all the phone numbers, we are iterating through the records, and we are printing the phone, right? This is how you can actually access the individual field which is part of the CSV file, right? So entire record is in user, and you can access with the property by using dot. All right, so let's do one thing. Let's just keep writing this in the right host. So we'll say the first name is user dot first name. All right, we got the IntelliSense as well. Then we will say last name, let's put some space there, okay, and then user dot last name. All right, so let's hit run, and as you can see, the first name is the first name coming in from CSV for each and every row, and then we have the last name coming in from the CSV with the last name, right? So this is how actually you can iterate through each and every row which is part of CSV file, and then you can use dot and then the property, it makes it as a property, so you can access them like that, and then you can just use in your for each loop. All right, I hope this simple example helped you to understand how do you import CSV, how do you only select a certain specific fields from a CSV, and then how do you read the CSV line by line and use the values in your PowerShell. I thank you for watching the video.